When I was a child growing up and playing guitar, I learned guitar by listening to more accomplished guitar players such as Jimi Hendrix, who was my first guitar hero, guitar idol, guitar mentor. And I would listen to Mr. Hendrix and attempt to play along with what he was playing. And I learned essentially how to play guitar by listening to more accomplished, better guitar players. And in the same way, I listened to other starseeds, other truth bringers, other individuals with a message that resonates with me. And in this case, I want to make mention that I watched an Ismael Perez video entitled Taking Your Power Back that was very inspirational, very well done. I'll leave the link to that video in this video that I post. And part of playing guitar was you steal licks. You listen to another guitar player and you're like, oh man, that sounds cool. So I want to learn that lick, and you figure it out, and then it becomes part of your repertoire. So with that in mind, I'm going to not so much steal any licks or words from what Mr. Ismael Perez was saying, but riff on this theme. Like, I learn something and then I kind of take it and add to it and make it my own. So that is my intent with this message, is to further elucidate, to further assimilate and promulgate the riff, the musical motif, the idea, the thematic theme of taking your power back. Mr. Ismael Perez did a very good job of talking about that. Again, I'll leave the link to that video. But in the age of Pisces, you see, everything was very institutionalized and presented to us in this dualistic format, especially within the Abrahamic religions, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. And I suppose that it could be understood, although I was never really, even though I was born in 1969, so technically, I spent some time in the age of Pisces and grew up as a Catholic kid going to institutionalized, school, Catholic school, churches, and all that stuff. But my point is in that previous epoch, it could be understood for a person to be part of the program, to be bedazzled, to be ensorcelled with the illusion of dualism. And in the illusion of dualism, we have God and we have Satan, we have good and we have evil, a constant bipolar tug of war, spiritual tug of war. And I want to make mention that the ancient Jews in the Old Testament, which is our Bible, is actually the Torah. It's a combination of the Torah, the Talmud, and the Zohar. But this knowledge that comes from our Bible, the ancient Jews do speak of Satan, the devil. But I don't think what people realized or recognized was that Satan was an agent of God, who was testing the sincerity of man's deeds, the strength of a believer's convictions, and the stamina of an individual's moral fiber. And although this so-called devil seems to entice man to do wrong, he is not inherently an evil being. Think about it as the devil, Satan, Lucifer, conducting a sting operation, overtly enticing to evil, dangling the fruits of evil in temptation, but in reality, working for God, testing moral fiber, testing conviction. Now, in the book of Job, the beginning of Job conveys that message. God sends out Satan to test Job's righteousness. Similar how a dentist or a doctor tests the firmness of a bone or flesh by probing it. Or, and I can speak to the veracity of this next example, as I was a member of United States Army Military Intelligence, the Army tests the integrity and trustworthiness of its intelligence agents by tempting them. And so too does God test man. A test reveals the inner worthiness of a person's deeds and demonstrates one's character. Although God, Source, is the sole creator of the universe, the divine grid programmer created an autonomous system of nature, of this third dimension physicality of harmonic universe number one, dense physical reality, that serves as an intermediate layer between the heavenlies, between God and man, us, the Terrans of this fallen realm. Now, the system of nature is self-contained and has its own laws, cause, and effects, which is essentially what the study of magic is all about. First of all, it's a veneration of this beautiful creation, because it does have beauty despite having been hijacked by the forces of Satan. But since one can use this system without immediate recourse to God, it allows people to fall asleep in atheism, in agnosticism, thinking that there's no realm beyond this physical, that the spiritual realm is non-existent. It's easy to think that this system runs on its own, independent of Source, when that's simply not true. All is from the love of God, independent of God. That's what most people think, that this is just bam, just here, it just developed, Darwinian, blah, blah, blah. But gravity, inertia, electromagnetism all work whether the person is a sinner or a saint. This world works whether you believe in God, believe in a creator or not. But a person who buys into the phenomena of nature without bothering to ask himself about the cause or the source, or being sensitive to God's manipulation of natural events, can be misled by the system into a disbelief in God. That is what the Antichrist current is all about, is further trapping people in the physicality of their bodies, that this flesh tomb. Yes, you can enjoy your life and enjoy being embodied in this genetic vehicle, but there's more to life than that. Now, between God and the world, this world of nature, this physicality, this 3D realm of the five senses, there's a bridge, though, the Bifrost Bridge, the Rainbow Bridge, your Jed column, your chakra system. But between God and the world of nature, between this realm, lies this bridge, which I call the occult, study of magic, the quasi-spiritual. It can change and bend the rules of nature through miracles, through magic, through your divine intention. However, this quasi-spiritual world, although it is more elevated than nature per se, you're getting into the fourth dimension through the study of the occult, through the power of magic. You're beginning to realize there's more than just the five senses in the physical body. It's still not the divine. It is still not touching Source. That is what the highest magic is all about. But to achieve that highest magic and take your power back, to begin to take your power back, you have to embrace what this age of Aquarius is all about. And in this age, you cannot get by on what happened in the age of Pisces through by believing in your institutions, that your priest, your pastor, your leaders, your political leaders are there to save you. No, you have to embrace your own God force within. And it begins with the understanding that at the fundamental cause of your mental slavery, your imprisonment, has been the lies that we've been taught about the previous age, from the previous age. The burning bush, Yahweh, saying, I am that I am. God saying that I am, but not the people not understanding that they are I am as well. Everyone is this I am. Everyone is the fundamental force or source for every life there is. Because everyone is God. And that is not blasphemy, but the age of Aquarius reveals you being God and creation as well. It is all the same. This is how to reach the higher realm, the fifth dimension, because the fourth dimension is still contested battleground. You've realized you've elevated beyond the third dimension. You've realized and admitted to yourself there's more than just this physical genetic vehicle, that there is a higher realm beyond the digital matrix. Once you get past that, once you realize that's a trap. But everything going forward in the age of Aquarius is entering into the fifth dimension. And your I am presence is God. And that essentially is what people have to be able to wrap their minds around, to begin to realize. Let's say, for example, what if you woke up one morning, say tomorrow morning you wake up with the crazy notion that everything you have ever been told was a lie. Everything you were taught in school, from your parents, from religion, and from TV, from this digital matrix, from entertainment, entrainment, was a form of deception. But all the systems you trusted that you believed were created for your best interests were false. This is what it takes, a thorough dismantling of everything. When you realize that everything in our life has been a calculated series of lies designed as a type of control mechanism to keep you and everyone under the spell of the wizards who control this realm. What if you found out that even all the areas that seemed designed to assist you, such as religion, spirituality, or self-help, were all part of the deception as well? Well, you would hit the subscribe button on this channel and stay along for the ride and give this video a thumbs up, as it indicates to the algorithm that enough. We need to spread the message of taking our power back. And simply, that is through knowledge, through self-knowledge, through self-study, and abolishing fear. That is, I will conclude this message with Mr. Ishmael Perez did make the point throughout this video that I'm going to leave the link to. Fear. You must step beyond fear. Fear is the control, is the sauce of the control mechanism, control soup, the broth of the soup. Anyway, that was a silly analogy, or is that a metaphor? Anyway, step beyond fear and step into your power. And simply waking up each morning, realizing the lies, but also realizing the opportunity that you have the choice to begin to discover the truth and share that truth. And that is essentially this new age, this new earth, is being self-empowered and without fear, without trepidation, without any concern for the shenanigans and the drama going on in the outside world. Even in the midst of some of the most horrific experiences in this physical 3D realm, the ideal is to be like the Zen master who had fallen over. A tiger was chasing him, and he ran off a cliff, and he had grabbed a branch, and the tiger was above him, growling and snarling, and he couldn't go back up over the cliff, but he was holding on to his life through a branch that was stuck in the side of the cliff, and that was what was keeping him alive. But the branch was coming out. It was coming out of the side, and he was beginning to fall. But at the last minute before he did fall to his death, there was a flower there, and his last action was to take that flower with him in his hand as he fell to his death. smelling the flower and appreciating the flower. And that is the type of power ultimately that we seek in this world. That is why we're here, to establish that power of beauty and connection to source above all else. Once you have attained that connection to source, to beauty, that is your power. That is our power, and that will be our power going forward into this age of Aquarius. And so it is.
Namaste. Namaskaram.